before your feet even touch the floor this morning, before the coffee, before the phone, before the world gets a single word in. There is a moment that most people rush right past. A quiet moment, a sacred moment. And it might just be the most important moment of your entire day. You've felt it before, haven't you? Those mornings when everything feels heavy before it even begins. The mind is already racing. The worries are already lined up, waiting. And somewhere in the rush, we forget to stop. We forget to breathe. We forget to simply say, "Good morning," to God before we say it to anyone else. But here's something most people never notice. The way your day begins often decides how your whole day unfolds. If this message found you today, perhaps there's a reason. Perhaps you were meant to hear this before you take another step into today. Because there is a simple, quiet habit. One small shift in how you begin your morning that has the power to change everything. Not just your mood, not just your outlook, but your peace, your strength, your faith. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover may completely change the way you start every single day from this moment forward. Let's be honest with each other for a moment. Most mornings don't start in silence. They start in noise. The alarm goes off, and before your eyes are even fully open, your mind is already running. What do I need to do today? Did I forget something yesterday? What's waiting for me the moment I walk out that door? Sound familiar? We live in a world that trains us to reach for our phones before we reach for our hearts, to check messages before we check in with our own soul, to let other people's voices, the news, the notifications, the demands, be the very first voices we hear each day. And here's the quiet truth so many of us have never stopped to consider. Whatever fills your mind first in the morning tends to shape the hours that follow. Think about the mornings when you woke up anxious, rushed, already behind. Didn't the whole day seem to carry that same heaviness with it? And think about the rare mornings when you woke up calm, unhurried, at peace. Didn't something feel different? Lighter? Steadier? That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is important, so take a moment and really think about this. Before you fill your mind with the world's noise, is there room to fill your heart with something greater first? There's an old truth, one that's been quietly passed down for generations, often overlooked in our hurried modern lives. Before Jesus faced the demands of the day, the crowds, the questions, the weight of his mission, Scripture tells us he would rise early, while it was still dark, and go to a quiet place to pray. Not after the chaos began, before it. Not as an afterthought, as a foundation. Many people overlook this. They think prayer is something to fit in later, if there's time. A closing thought before bed, if we remember. But what if it was never meant to be the last thing? What if it was always meant to be the first? Because here's where everything begins to change. When you place that first quiet moment, even just a minute, even just a whispered "thank you" or "guide me today," before anything else touches your mind, something shifts. You're no longer walking into your day alone, unprepared, unarmed against whatever it may bring. You're walking in with someone beside you, steadier, covered, held, and that changes how you carry everything else that follows. But there's one thing most people get wrong about this, something so simple, yet it changes the entire meaning of a morning prayer. And once you understand it, you'll never look at your mornings the same way again. Stay with me, because that's exactly where we're headed next. So here's the thing so many people get wrong. They believe that a morning prayer is about the words, about saying the right sentence, the right verse, the right formal request, as if there's a script we must recite perfectly for it to count. But that was never the heart of it. A morning prayer was never meant to be a performance. It was always meant to be a posture of the heart that says, before anything else, I am not walking through today alone. Think about it like this. Imagine starting your morning by simply turning to someone you trust completely, someone who has never once let you down, and saying, I don't know what today holds, but I know you do. Walk with me. That's not a formula. That's a relationship. And that changes everything about how prayer actually works. This is why so many people say their morning prayers and still feel that same heaviness by 9 o'clock. It's not because prayer doesn't work. It's because they were reciting words while their heart stayed somewhere else, still scrolling, still worrying, still racing ahead to the next task. But when the heart leads the words instead of the other way around, something remarkable happens. Let me share something simple, something you may have experienced yourself without even realizing what it was. Think of the last time you sat quietly with a cup of coffee or tea, just before the day pulled you into motion. Maybe you looked out the window. Maybe you watched the light slowly change as the sun came up. In that stillness, even without trying, you probably felt something settle inside you. A little more calm, a little more clear. That stillness, that's not empty space. That's sacred space. And it's exactly the space where morning prayer was always meant to live. Scripture puts it so gently in Psalm 143. Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you. Show me the way I should go, for to you I lift up my soul. Notice what that verse doesn't ask for. It doesn't ask for the day to be easy. It doesn't ask for every problem to disappear. It simply asks for direction, for trust to come before understanding. That's the deeper reason behind this practice that most people never notice. Morning prayer isn't about controlling your day. It's about surrendering the parts you can't control before they even have the chance to control you. And here's something beautifully practical you can start tomorrow morning, no matter how busy your life is. You don't need 20 minutes. You don't need perfect words. You don't even need to get out of bed. You simply need 60 honest seconds where your first thought, before anything else touches your mind, is turned upward instead of outward. Something as simple as, "Thank you for this new day. I don't know everything it holds, but I trust you with it. Walk with me." That's it. That's the whole shift. But here is where it gets even more meaningful, something we haven't touched on yet. Because there's a difference between praying for your day and praying through your day. And understanding that difference is where true peace begins to take root, not just in your mornings, but in every hour that follows. Stay with me, because that final piece, the piece that ties this all together, is coming next. Let's talk about that difference now, because it's the piece that brings everything together. Praying for your day is what most of us were taught. We wake up, we say a prayer, and then we go. We ask God to bless the day ahead, to protect us, to help things go smoothly, and then we close that moment and step into the world as if the conversation is finished. But praying through your day is something different. It's carrying that same quiet posture with you, not just at 6 a.m., but at 9 a.m. when the traffic is heavy, at noon when the news feels unbearable, at 4 p.m. when someone says something that stings, at the end of the day when you're tired and the house is quiet and you finally sit down. It's remembering, in those small, unnoticed moments, that the conversation you started this morning never actually ended. This is the deeper truth so many people miss. Morning prayer isn't a task to check off before your real day begins. It's the doorway into a day that's never truly walked alone. Think of it like keeping a small candle lit all day long. You light it in the stillness of the morning, and even as the wind picks up, even as the hours grow loud and demanding, that flame doesn't have to go out. You can return to it. A breath, a whispered, "Help me" in traffic, a quiet thank you when something good happens, however small, a steadying, "I trust you" when the day tries to knock you off balance. That's not religious performance. That's simply staying connected to the one who already knows how your day is going to unfold, even before you do. And here's the piece in that. You don't have to carry today by yourself. You never did. The weight you've been quietly holding on to, the worry about tomorrow, the ache from yesterday, the pressure to have it all figured out, none of that was ever meant to be carried alone. Philippians 4:6-7 puts it so simply: do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. Notice that word, guard. Not remove every hardship. Not erase every hard moment. Guard, protect, steady you from the inside, even while life continues to happen around you. So if you take only one thing from this message today, let it be this. Tomorrow morning, before the phone, before the noise, before the world gets its first word in, give the first 60 seconds to something greater. Not a perfect prayer, not the right words, just an honest heart, turned upward, saying, I don't know what today holds, but I know I'm not walking into it alone. That single shift, small as it seems, has the quiet power to change how you carry everything else. If this message met you at the right moment today, know that it wasn't by accident. And if it brought you even a little peace, a little clarity, a little hope for tomorrow morning, consider staying a part of this journey. Subscribe, and let's keep walking through these mornings together, one honest prayer at a time. Go gently into today. You are not alone in it.